Hi everybody and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Top 5. I'm your host Rich Twilling. I want to give a shout out to my co-host Shawn Valentino all the way across the pond in beautiful sunny Los Angeles. I am still in Italy, although it looks like I am in beautiful sunny Cuba the way I'm dressed today. But nonetheless, let's get to the matter at hand, and that is the top 5 moments from WWE Backlash. And this is going to be difficult because frankly this was not a very good show. Not much noteworthy going on the show. Boring is something that came to mind a lot while watching it. So we're going to run through a top 5 a little bit differently than normal. Usually it's the top 5. Well, it's right there in the title, the top 5. But these are just 5 moments from the show that are memorable for some way, either good or bad. Number 5, I'm going to go jump right into this. And we have to go with the Nia Jax promo. If you saw the promo, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Ill-conceived, ill-timed promo right after the match in the ring, which I never liked to begin with. And I don't want to go too far into this because I think the program between Nia and Alexa was booked very well. Nia's obviously going to be moving on to other things now, but I just think that the promo was, well, not very good at all. And in fact, look up Jumping Jeff Farmer. If you don't know who that is, look him up. And if I had to ask Jeff one question, I would say, Jeff, was that one of the worst promos you've seen all year, or perhaps in a very long time? And he would simply say, yep. Moving on. Number 4, I'm going to go with Seth Rollins versus The Miz. This was the match of the night, and the show pretty much blew its load after this match because it led off the show. And it was a great match. Intercontinental Championship match. Seth Rollins, one of the best workers in the world right now. And one of the best of his time as well. And The Miz is somebody that, one of the best characters in WWE. One of the best heels of all time. And the two of them are really hitting at all cylinders right now. The Miz is doing as well, or he's better now than he was back when he was WWE champion, and you can say the same about Seth Rollins. I don't think he's ever been as good as he is right now too. They're on different shows, but to me those are the two MVPs of the company right now, and two guys you can really build both those shows around. So a match with high expectations coming in, and not only did they live up to them, but they definitely exceeded them. 3, the heel work, the unexpectedly good heel work of a couple people on the show. I'm going to go with Big Cass and Carmella here. Not to mention the people that we usually see good heel work from. So, you know, I'm not talking about Nakamura here, or Alexa Bliss, or Kevin Owens, or Samoa Joe. But Big Cass, when he left with his injury, he was feuding with Enzo Amore, but it wasn't really lighting the world on fire. And it kind of put Cass in a light where without Enzo with him, his character was a little bit aimless, a little bit lost. And I thought when he came back on Miz TV and delivered that promo, I thought, okay, this guy worked on some stuff while he was gone. And he worked a great heel match. Obviously, he lost and he tapped out and he lost clean, which is odd for the undersized babyface to do so to the bigger, more imposing heel in the first match in what's going to be a series because of the attack afterwards. So the booking's a little bit backwards, but Kaz's work as a heel since he's come back has been very, very solid so far. And Carmella, her work in the ring reminds me, I mean just the heel work, not the actual ability to go, but reminds me of a late 90s, early 2000s Chris Jericho, the way that she mocks her opponents, Charlotte in this case, the way that she mocks the crowd. She needs to get rid of that incessant screaming. That actually takes away from the match, but a lot of the other things she's doing shows that she's grown a lot as a performer as well. So positive work there with Cass and Carmella, and it is a coincidence that I brought them up together. Next, number 2, I'm gonna go Braun Strowman. The match was one of those throwaway matches, and I'm guessing we're eventually going to get that Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley one-on-one feud, which, given the two of them and their athletic ability and their size, that should be very entertaining. The thing about Braun right now is I feel like they need to pull the trigger on him at the top of the card. And so Brock is champion right now, and the only reason why Brock is champion right now is because he needed to break CM Punk's record That's a big deal in WWE. So now Brock can be referred to as the longest reigning champion of this era. But Braun Strowman, to me, future main event guy. I hope so. I hope he's that. Or he could be a Kane type of character. He's a guy that could be around for 20 years and not have a lot of world championships and main events to show for it. So I could see him falling into either of those categories. But right now, he just continues to stand out, and the crowd loves him now. So I hope they don't wait too long to pull the trigger on him. And then finally, because I wanted to get in and out of here as quickly as I possibly could, I'm going to go with two matches, the WWE Championship match and then the main event, which unfortunately were not the same thing, and they should be. A WWE Championship match should always be the main event of a pay-per-view, especially if there isn't a Universal Championship match on that show, unless you have an extreme exception, like when the Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 26, something like that. That's an exception. But there's no reason for AJ Nakamura to go on in the middle of this show, but they did, and the finish was horribly flat. So now we had a match at WrestleMania, again, backwards booking. AJ beats him at Mania. Nakamura gets another match, double countout. Then they, for some reason, say no disqualification, and now we get another double countout. So now, obviously, it's leaning or going to be pushed toward probably a steel cage or something like that, where none of those things could happen. But the feud that was supposed to be the dream feud for a lot of people just has not turned out that way. AJ Styles is one of my favorite performers of all time, and I think Shawn Michaels to me is the best ever. AJ is in the conversation in terms of in-ring performances and in-ring performers. And I was hoping for more between these two, and it just hasn't happened yet. So if they get to go one more time, first of all, I'm hoping AJ holds on to the championship, but I'm also hoping that they're able to deliver something more than they have thus far. And that match went on earlier in the show. The match that closed the show was Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. Now, if the fact that Reigns is hated on by so many in the arenas, on the internet, everywhere you go, this didn't help matters, because this could have been a match where he didn't have to main event, because it wasn't for a championship. It didn't involve another main event performer, and it's just weird that it went on last, but it did. And it was a very good match. I mean, the match itself was fine, but here's the problem. It was predictable. It reminded me a lot of those Super Cena matches that there was about that, 6 to 8 year run where Cena would just get absolutely demolished and then come out on top. And I'm fearing you see a lot of that with Reigns in the last 4 years, but just one of those real predictable matches, and that's kind of what I compared it to. So a good match, but one that's easily forgettable, and one that isn't going to be talked about going forward. And I don't know. Just, I guess right now you got to keep Reigns busy until he becomes champion, which I'm guessing will happen. But who knows with WWE right now. So, but anyway, that's all I got. WWE Backlash. It was a very missable show, but here at the Pro Wrestling Top 5, we come to work no matter what. And it also helps when you get to down one of these bad boys during the show. That made things a little bit more interesting for me and made it able for me to do my job. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure to catch Shawn Valentino's Top 5 on this same show. And all of our information, it's probably going to be right around here somewhere. Yeah, click on it. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. We always appreciate that. So until next time, this is the Pro Wrestling Top 5. I'm Rich Twilling. Take care.